We will call today's city council meeting to order. If you could go ahead and call roll.
Me?
Whichever of you two delightful ladies who would like to.
Oh, she wants me to do it. Councilmember Seifert?
Present.
Councilmember Culler?
Here.
Councilmember Van Hees?
Here.
Councilmember Sander?
Present.
Councilmember Stravens?
Here.
And the mayor is also present because we want that reflected on the minutes. All right, we're gonna go ahead and stand, and Madeline is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Could you get us started?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wonderful. Do I have any motions to approve the meeting agenda as, or do we want any amendments? So one of the things is we will be having an executive session. There will be no action taken. It will be less than 10 minutes or less. But we're suggesting that we move that to the end if one of you would like to make a motion.
I move approval of tonight's agenda as presented.
I'll second.
With the executive session at number 7?
Sorry, as amended. As amended.
As amended.
Okay, I was like, wow. Alrighty then. All right, we will go ahead and take a vote. Approval to accept the agenda as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Wonderful. Well, we have a local agency report from the Spokane Conservation District, Vicki Carter and Cole Leroy.
All right. Well, good evening, Mayor and council members and residents of Millwood. I too was a resident of Millwood for over 10 years, 1993 to 2003. I lived on Dalton Street. I lived at 8514 and then 8611. My kids went to West Valley High School. So these are old stomping grounds for me. My former husband was on the Planning Commission. I did support with that, and I know Jeannie, or knew Jeannie Batson very well, so, as I'm sure most of you did too. Tonight with me is Cole Leroy. He's our Government Affairs Specialist at the Conservation District. I'm the Director, and we just wanted to come in and give you an update, and I have done this periodically, albeit I have not been here for a few years, but we'd like to give you an update on what's going on at the Conservation District, and in particular tonight want to talk about rates and charges, and that's a system of funding that we have that we like to bring to the attention of our communities. So over the next several weeks, Cole and I will be on the road out to all of our incorporated areas, some of our neighborhood councils, Rotary clubs, et cetera, just letting people know what's going on and giving everybody an opportunity to come to a public hearing if they so wish, or provide testimony to the Board of County Commissioners. So with that, if you don't mind, I'll give you a very quick history lesson, very brief, in conservation districts. So you can do the next slide. So conservation districts, if you didn't know, they were born directly out of the Dust Bowl, and this was in particularly back in the 30s when these large black blizzards were blowing across the United States. Today, there's over 3,000 conservation districts in our landscape. So Spokane formed their conservation district, their first one in 1941, under state law, RCW 8908, which was enacted in 1939. We originally had 4 districts. They consolidated into one in 1973. That's a picture of my grandmother on the streets of Spokane. I'm just joking. Not really, and I think that's probably somewhere in Oklahoma. So this is downtown Millwood in 1932. You can switch to the next one. So a few facts, just kind of some numbers for Spokane County. There's over 1 million acres, 1.1 million acres. We have over almost 550,000 of that in agricultural land, 350,000 in our forested lands. We have over 500 miles of rivers, streams, tributaries, stream banks, and then 68 lakes and thousands of wetlands. And all of those are managed on a voluntary basis by one conservation district, and that is us. Okay, you can go to the next one. So again, we're a special purpose district. We're authorized under state law. That again, that's RCW 8908, and our job is to take technical, financial, and educational resources to our private and public landowners, and really help them utilize and provide the best use of our natural resources. We focus on soil health and agriculture, water quality, and trees, and of course our forested grounds. We do all of this with no regulatory authority and no enforcement authority. So we're never out there, finding people for any practices, but we are out there to help them if they find themselves in a position with another said state agency that does do that. Brian's our attorney too in the Conservation District, so he knows all about those. Next slide. This is just a little demonstration of the kinds of things that we do. We do hold an annual tree and shrub sale. So a lot of times, if you don't know us for any other reason, you know us as the tree sale people. We've had that program going since 1974. It started with Expo 74 as one of the first programs that we rolled out, still going today. We've never missed a year, including COVID, where we did a trunk pickup. So we put out over 100 seedlings a year through this program. We also provide on-site technical assistance, and most of this is free to our landowners. Come out and look at sick and diseased trees. We do crop management. We provide FireWise assessments for homes, big FireWise communities throughout all of Spokane County. And we also service public entities as well. In fact, when the town, back then it was the town of Millwood, when the town of Millwood incorporated into the district's boundaries was 1994, and it was because of your street trees, the boulevards with the trees, and they were becoming diseased. And so you came to us for technical assistance, and at that time you were not a part of the district. And so in 1994 you actually voted in to do that. And then we do huge river restoration projects and stream bank restorations. This one happens to be on Hangman Creek. All familiar with that, but we also do a lot of work right here on the Spokane River. We do work on, again, stream bank stabilization. We did the Island Trails project with the boat launch. So we're out here in all of our water bodies. And then we have a huge environmental education program, and that really encompasses everything from our littles, kindergarten, all the way up through our adult education classes, of which we started our backyard conservation program last night. Those are sold out every year, but we're in the public schools, and we are also, we deal with a lot of homeschoolers, and we do a lot of collaborative things where we bring kids to the property. We have a 50-acre parcel that's just on the corner of 8th and Havana, the old Spokane Rocks product site. It was a gravel pit or a quarry for many, many years, and we've spent the last 7 years restoring that. And if you haven't been there, I'm going to encourage you to come out. We just finished building the Scale House Market, which is absolutely beautiful, Spokane's first public year-round farmers market, and it's really something to see. So next slide. The number one question, how are you funded? So let's just take it right here. The majority of our funding, almost 75% of it, is through grants. So we have become very skilled grant writers. And we write grants, and this is to support every program and project that we have, including Vets on the Farm, which is a program we started in 2016. It includes NRAP, which is a Natural Resources Apprenticeship Program, where we provide career opportunities for youth from 17 to age 25. We actually put them through 2 years of community college for a natural resource degree, and we employ them for 3 summers to give them that practical experience. So when we turn them out after 3 summers and 2 years of college, they're ready to hit the workforce trained. All of that goes, those are all grants that we write and have secured. Rates and charges is what we're going to talk about tonight. So that's about 15% of our budget. And then the rest is that little, about 10% is that little bit of fees and revenues that we have through things like our tree sale, which does generate some funding. Some of our workshops we charge for, not all of them, but a few of them. And then some revenue that we have off leasing, because we have the quarry, we have a number of tenants on the property now. So there's some revenue that's generated through that as well. So that's the majority of it. What we want to do tonight is talk about, and you can switch slides, we want to just talk about rates and charges and really where that comes in. So rates and charges actually formed in 1991. So conservation districts operate in the state of Washington, but we are not a state agency, and we're not a county department, and we have no stable funding. We're not written into anybody's budget. So in 1989-ish, The county commissioners and the board of directors for the Spokane Conservation District actually wrote legislation that they took to the state asking for what they called an assessment back then. And basically, it assessed each parcel of land in Spokane a certain dollar amount. And at that time, it was $3. That legislation passed, and Spokane was the very first district in the state of Washington to have it. That became a game changer for us. And again, I'll go back. Brian understands where we are as a conservation district compared to districts that don't have an assessment or rates and charges. It just it exponentially changed how we were able to put conservation on the ground. So we operated with that until 1998, and the Board of County Commissioners voted. We don't have any authority to do this ourselves. This isn't a tax. This is a flat rate. Everything has to go through the Board of County Commissioners, and everything goes through a public process with a public hearing, which is why we're here tonight, to talk about it and then invite you for comment or testimony to a public hearing. But in 1998, they voted to change that to $5. And then in 2014, the entire state changed their system to what's now called rates and charges because it better described the services that we offer being both direct and indirect to landowners. So in 2014, they authorized rates to go up to $15. We did not do that. But in 2019, the Board of County Commissioners moved it up to $10 per parcel. That's where we're at today. In 2025, I'm sorry with all these dates, state legislature authorized that rate to go up to $25, and they've put an inflationary factor in that now so that hopefully they don't have to make this decision anymore. But we're here tonight to tell you that we would like to approach our Board of County Commissioners and ask for a $5 per parcel per year, not per month, per year increase, taking us to $15.42 per month. So you can go ahead and switch slides again. So again, I want to go back to that slide with the pie chart, that 75% of our funding. So in order to get those grants, they require match, and a lot of times that's 25%. In some cases, it's actually 50%. In order for us to do that, we have to be able to prove that we have other funding. So that's what those local investment dollars, in this case, for every dollar, we do a 5 to 9x return. So if you looked at our budget over the last 10, 12 years, you would see an average of about $8 or 8x on the return of investment. And that is one of the ways that we are able to do the magnitude of conservation and projects that we do in this county. And I'm going to just take a moment because I just came from our national conference, which was held in San Antonio. We've been selected for the second time now for the national organization to come to Spokane and hold their summer meeting here. They'll be coming here in 2027. This is big. This is a lot of heads in beds, and it's a lot of tourism dollars coming into our area. But this is the second time that Spokane's been selected. I've known this for a while, but we are one of the top 10 in the nation. And I just say that not for us, but for all of you to be able to be proud of that your conservation district is ranked in the top 10 in the nation. There are those out there that would say we're probably in the top 3. And going to the national conference, and I was invited to be a speaker, I really do think that. And I don't want to sound like, we're just patting ourselves on the back, but that's where it is, and it's very exciting for us to have that in Spokane. Okay, and go to the next one. So right now, what your $10 has bought this last year was over 200 home assessments. That's those wildfire assessments where we're going out onto the property and doing a walk around and providing an assessment to a landowner of how they can better prepare their home and their property in the event of wildfire. Some of that money that we use is also a cost share program. So in some cases, we have funding where people can apply to have their deck replaced, and there's cost share funding for that to get rid of those flammable materials, or to remove bark away from the home and put in gravel, or to remove junipers that are right up against the house and plant it with a more resilient plant type. It's also provided over 1,000 attendees at some of our conferences and workshops. We're known nationally for our Farm and Food Symposium, which is held every November, and our Inland Tree Conference, which is held every January. We've also put out just this year alone over $4 million in loans. These are low-interest loans that go to farmers and producers for conservation tillage equipment, changing from conventional practices that will help conserve soil. Along with that, I already mentioned the 100,000 plus seedlings that we put out annually every year, and there was over 27 miles of riparian habitat improved just last year alone. And you can go to the next slide for me. So our next steps, again, as I mentioned, our current rate is $10 per parcel. We're proposing to the county commissioners that we move that to $15 per parcel per year. I loved, I want to make an emphasis on that. So it's a 42-cent impact monthly. I'm pretty sure all of us could probably dig in our pocket or certainly in our cup holder in our car and find 42 cents a month. But I do like to just show you the impact that 42 cents has. And again, remind you, this is not a property tax, it's a flat rate, and it is the key that unlocks those grant dollars for us. All right, next one. What this does for as an indirect benefit to all of us as community members is provides safer forests, cleaner water, more resilient communities, and it certainly expands the educational opportunities that we're able to offer our community here. And one more, I think we're getting toward the end here. Future, this is just some of the stuff that 42 cents will go toward is continued fire prevention and healthy forests. As we all know, the Grays Fire and the Oregon Fire were devastating. And there's more of that to come, as we all know. It's never a matter of when or if, it's when. And we have the opportunity to do some prevention, and we want to take that. We're also doing a lot of work right now in some neighborhoods around Spokane that don't have a good canopy. Millwood is blessed. You guys are one of the Tree City USA. I mean, you guys have a great canopy here. But if you drive in certain spots of Spokane, you'll note, particularly out north, they're desolate. They do not have the shade canopy. And so one of our programs is getting those trees into those neighborhoods. There's all kinds of benefits, but energy, obviously, water, creating shade, cooling effects, it's all good for a community. And it just is aesthetically more pleasing when you have green in your neighborhoods. Clean water and healthy habitat. We do so much work in this, and we continue to do the work in Hangman Creek. If you're familiar, Hangman Creek originates out of Idaho, crosses the border. It picks up a lot of energy because of some old agricultural practices. Certainly not the only reason. Geologically, it's still a very young system. It's got a lot of sediment into it. But I've been with the district now for nearly 36 years, and I can tell you that we are now seeing the numbers change in the sediment load and the phosphorus, and it's largely due to some of these large-scale projects. I used to say, we just have this shotgun approach. We're just doing these little tiny projects, and they were like little Band-Aids. Now we're able to do 3,000 feet at a time. And these are big projects, but they're expensive. They're $500,000 at a time. But when you can start connecting these, you're starting to talk about miles of stream now that's being protected. And we're actually seeing the numbers change. We do a lot of really fun projects in canoes with volunteers. We go out, and it's called the Willow Warrior Weekend. So they're out there in canoes and planting willows along. And this has been going on now. I think we're in our 8th or 9th year of this. We have several volunteers that like to do that. Farm and food, we have a huge program called biofarming, where we're actually changing the chemistry, trying to reduce the amount of chemical load that's put on our soil, looking at more natural and biological approaches to that. And then maybe some of you are familiar with Vets on the Farm, which is a program we started in 2016, which is a transitional program for veterans as they leave their military careers to get into agriculture. We're 10 years old now and just celebrated our 10th anniversary, and that's a program that's still going strong. We've serviced over 500 veterans and aided them in some way, getting them into agriculture or conservation, or just helping them with their own farm. And then we, again, just the local community that this takes is providing that technical assistance to people and those educational workshops. And again, our technical assistance is free. And so people can give us a call. We'll come out and take a look at anybody's tree, pretty much for any reason. So, all right, next slide. Why now? This is important to us because our rates and charges renews every 10 years, so it's time. We have to go back before the Board of County Commissioners. We've already met with them, just to give you a heads up. They are in support of this. It is our duty now to go out and talk to our constituents and let you know that this is happening, that this request is being made, and provide you with an opportunity to, again, come and ask questions of the board or to come and provide testimony. And last one, there's a couple, Just a couple pictures of how we serve our community. These are just all kinds of projects starting up in the top left. That's our NRAP. Those are the students that are out in Medical Lake putting in trees at their new recreational center. That's on the farm. The next picture over, it says, I farm, you eat. They're selling their product now at the Scale House Market as well as their farm stand. They service the 2 veteran homes here in Spokane with fresh produce. Anything that they grow that's in surplus, they either give to the veterans homes or to the Spokane Food Bank, for Second Harvest Food Bank. Next picture is our tree sale. Whoops, sorry. That one's just a quick picture. Thousands of orders of trees. Soil testing, we have world-renowned speakers and scientists that come here to look at what we're doing in our biofarming program. The bottom left is the Scale House Market. We took the Scale House from the old quarry. It was 18 feet wide and 165 feet long. We've turned it into a year-round market, and it is fabulous. And then Center Place, where we hold our conferences, composting workshops, and then Ben Peterson is our forester. He's out there doing a home site assessment with a landowner, which is very common. And you can slide, one more slide. There we go. Okay, so we have 2 times that we will be taking public comment, May 12th at our board meeting, 6 p.m., and then June 16th at 2 p.m. at our office located at 4422 East 8th Avenue in the Valley. Come see our beautiful campus and our building and our board. You can meet the board of Spokane Conservation District. And that's it.
Thank you.
I would take a question or two if there's time.
Of course. Any questions?
Is there any questions from the public? I'd hope to see some of you there. It'd be wonderful.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Becky.
yeah, appreciate the time.
All right, there are no other presentations. Do we have any public comments concerning action items tonight? No? Okay. And then we're moving our executive session. So that is the action items for first reading, of which we don't have any this time. So we'll move on to the consent agenda, items for consideration. Of course, being the city council register irregular meeting, the check register, treasurer's report, the January check register's report, January treasurer report, December check register, December treasurers, and do I have any motions? Would you like to take any of these items separately from the consent agenda? And then,
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
thank you, Dan.
Second.
Kelly, seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. All right, well, we have the public hearing for ordinance 558, 2026 comprehensive plan. And unfortunately, Amanda was unable to join us, so she left me a statement to read. And Brian, I'm gonna need your ears because if I don't call us into a hearing correctly, I'm gonna need you to jump in. Good evening, council. My apologies, I can't be in attendance tonight. As introduced in February, ordinance 558 adds the climate element and the 1 additional housing paragraph. During the 60-day review, we received only 1 request to add a reference to the climate resilience policy to 2022. This has been incorporated and is presented today as option 3 suggestion highlighted in yellow. Please review the request considering approval of 558 with option 3 as suggested. And this is the exhibit A. You guys were given the big stack and we didn't want to print it twice. So hopefully you still have that from last time. Upon approval, the comprehensive plan portion of Millwood's 2026 periodic update will be complete. Do we open us up for a hearing? Would you open us up for a hearing, sir?
Yes, at the direction of the mayor, I'd like to open up the hearing on ordinance 558 at 6:23 p.m.
Go ahead and wait a minute. What? Is there any testimony? Going once, going twice. I'll let you close when you're
That's
ready.
good. We delayed long enough to close the hearing at 6:24 p.m.
Wonderful. So Amanda has presented this ordinance before you to close out the comprehensive periodic planning and is asking that we incorporate this one suggestion, option 3. Any questions or discussion? Just a couple of typos that I caught. Well, those are all valuable. So it appears that there is a couple typos. If we were to do a Scrivener's, are they allowed to approve it based off of the adoption of a couple
Approved subject to any type corrections that are non-substantive.
nonsense?
Definitely not.
Okay, perfect. Well, the ball's in your court.
So are we asking for approval tonight?
Yeah, it's a second reading and they would like to,
Confused.
yeah, I'm sorry. To clarify that, they have had this through the public. She's presented it once to you guys before. Then we had a public hearing last month and now they're looking for one last public and she's closed 60 days of hearings at, open hearings where she was gathering comments and there's just this one change of which she adopted and then the, comprehensive plan as it's been presented to you twice.
Well, I make a motion then to approve ordinance 558 dash 226, the comprehensive plan update, part 2. I'll second.
Motioned and second, also including the non-substantive Scrivener changes that Tina will provide us. So all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Wonderful. Well, we will move on to reports. Lynn?
Okay, I included in your board packets, council packets, the treasurer's reports, the check registers for December, January, and February. And those were under the consent agenda. The reason I did that, I noted, was that December, when you saw December and approved it, it was not complete with the 13th month entries. And there was about $200,000 more that fell into that that time period that we rolled back into last year. So I brought that forward again for your approval, please. And January, I did have an incorrect date on an EFT, so I made that correction. It was $11,000. And then our February and treasurer's report and check register for the month of February that we just completed. The dashboards were included. I've got those updated. The issue that I had a concern with has been addressed with the finance committee, so we've addressed that. And so I included December, January, and February for your review. And there is, as we close out 25, since we're not closed to 25 yet, there is a possibility that there could be additional changes, but I would really expect them to be small, insignificant. Just moving something, perhaps we've got something in a wrong account, or we may have something in a wrong fund that we need to move around. So I don't really expect that there's going to be anything substantive in those. And just to highlight, in February, just a couple of items. As you noted that the tax revenues are off, we budget, and in the end of February, we're doing 1/6 of the budget, so tax doesn't flow like, just like when we do that budget that way. The intergovernmental revenues, of course, we have budgeted to get some of those WashDOT reimbursements back. And also the Dalton sidewalks are budgeted that we would have some revenues for those. And we haven't gotten those, but the good news, or we hadn't got those by the end of February. The good news is that first week of March, we did get 780,000. There was about 150 from WashDOT, and then 600,000 from TIB came in. We've got another $1 million reimbursement outstanding with WashDOT that I would hope that we would have in by the end of this month. Miscellaneous revenues were off. The budget for investment earnings, we're just not seeing that much interest come in. And then also in the 26 budget, it was budgeted for the wholesale water agreements potentially, 200,000 total. And so that's coming in the budget numbers, and as you know, that's not active. For expenditures, we just have a timing of when we paid our WCIA insurance. And the interfund loan has been booked into the February financials, and now that we've got those reimbursements, we can pay that off and be done with that. And as I noted, still working through the fund balances. I want to make sure they're correctly categorized and going back to ordinances or resolutions to make sure we get them categories correctly, whether it's assigned, committed, restricted, unassigned, however they need to be put into the books. Does anybody have any questions on those items? I also included the expenditure and check procedure. Shauna and I worked that up, and I think it's a really good way to get double eyes on everything. They're being approved by the person that should know why we spent that money. A double check, and usually that double check is myself or the mayor to say, yes, this is a reasonable thing that we should be spending money on, or ask the questions of what we're doing to kind of make sure we've got a good understanding of what's happening. And then we are doing checks about weekly so that one, finance committee doesn't have a stack like this, and so we can get them paid more timely, so we can get out of the wait, and then you wait and you wait, and then you've got interest charges and things like that, and you've got vendors calling. They deserve their money timely, as we expect our customers to pay us. So that procedure was in there for your review. And finally, Thursday, March 19th will be my last day with the city. And so I'll be spending the next week getting things ready to be able to transition when the new treasurer is hired. And I would like to thank you all very much. My short time here, I do appreciate you all, and I really wish all the best for the city of Millwood. It is a rare gem sitting out here in the middle, surrounded by a whole lot of other things, and it's a great city, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. May I dovetail off of the policy? So this, I think, really revolutionized how we do this, because not only did we historically get to the root of all these things, because checks have been going out, we made meticulous notes and into it. They also have a new approval stamping, so that it would be very easy for us to track down any given document from January 18th onward. I feel very comfortable that we would be able to instantly pull up what they want. So that was an extraordinary effort on Lynn's behalf. And honestly, if she had been a consultant for 8 weeks, she would have been worth 3 times the amount of money. So thank you. All right, Bridget, can you please give us clerk's report?
Alright, so I've been keeping up with daily tasks, processing utility bills, keeping up with everything incoming to the front office. I've been preparing agendas, packets, minutes with the assistance of Kenzie, thankfully, to provide immediate assistance with daily operations. Mayor Beasy and I were interviewing admin assistants. We went with the route of bringing on a temporary admin assistant to provide relief immediately, so that way I can focus more on the interim clerk side of things. And so we brought on Sophie for 90 days. Her assistance was crucial for getting through the February utility bills, so you could all get your bill. Next week, I will be meeting with Nisha with Welsh Comer and Mayor Beasy to update the water sewer rates in Springbrook to prepare for March bills, which will go out on April 5th. I would like to thank Nisha for her valued support during this process, much needed. So Casey Parr with Spokane Valley Fire Department came to us earlier in February. He's investigating a code enforcement violation with the installations of the railings within Safeway. If you guys have walked in and gone grocery shopping there, they have new railings to provide more safety, I'm assuming for shoplifting. So he's been investigating with that. I verified with both Brian and Amanda that there's no action required of the city as we contract out with Spokane Valley for building permits and inspections. Mr. Parr did let me know that he will update us if there's any developments with that. With that being said, Mayor Beasy and I did fill a full-time admin assistant position. Josh will be starting with the city March 16th full-time, and we're excited to have him join the team. And that's it.
Thank you very much. Kyle, can you please give us facilities, public works?
I sealed the deal with Vertical Options after your approval at last month's meeting based off the bid tab that I put together for the service and maintenance agreement on the elevator. I've been working on a new bid tab for the City Hall HVAC system service and maintenance contract, and I'll hopefully have that ready to present to you guys next month. A couple weeks ago, we had somebody drive through the Ballard at the end of Frederick and the trailhead, and then proceed down the trail to the Trent overpass where they totally annihilated the fencing and the gate to get through it. So I got a quote from Idaho Fence to come out and repair that. They finished up on that today. Luckily, the Ballard, we were able to repair ourselves with no additional costs. The north end of the Argonne project has reached substantial completion, and I just got confirmation today that Liberty had finalized the last minor punch list items that were documented. I've also been working closely with Welch Comer and TIB to get the south end FDR project going. Today, Andrew from TIB sent back the plans with a couple notes on them. So once we work through those, we're hoping to get it out to bid towards the end of this month. Right now, all I know for certain is that we will not be breaking ground until after school is out for the summer. And we will have it in the contract to have a proactive public outreach similar to the last project, including a contractor employed liaison to go door to door with weekly updates and newsletters, and to answer questions and concerns along with weekly progress reports and updates to the website. That seemed to be very well received last time around, and probably the new norm for large Argonne type projects. And that's pretty much all the important stuff.
Any questions? Sorry, I wasn't asking in between. Any questions? All right, Matt, if you could give us a utilities update.
Okay, all our routine samples came back good this month. Bryce, Sam, and I attended the truck rodeo last month. And Bryce and I will be attending the SRC4 conference at the end of this month at Whitworth. That's another all-day class on water. We changed out a leaky angle stop yesterday. Since all of our meter reading is done by radios, we don't look in the vaults as much as we used to. So here shortly, we're gonna start picking a portion of town and doing a little survey of the meter vaults and looking for leaks and fixing them as we go. And then down at lift station 3, we've had one of the pumps. It's tripped the breaker a couple times the last few months. Everything's running good now, but if that continues, we'll probably just replace that pump. We got an extra one down in the shop to put in. That's it.
Any questions? I was so excited, I asked if I could be invited to the truck rodeo, and it turns out it's 8 hours of classes, so that was unfortunate. Legal. Brian, do you have a report for us?
Not a whole lot to report. Really just kind of been providing some assistance to, Savannah and I have been providing some assistance to Bridget on some ongoing public records matters. Mayor and I have just been consulting on some things that likely will come before the council in the next future meetings. We have been talking about the need for a open government training in the future.
I think we got that on April 14th.
Hoping to bring that to you next month, so, yeah. Other than that, I can answer any questions, but nothing further.
Thank you, Brian. So Amanda's report's in the packet as usual. So as far as my report, we're continuing to clearly stabilize staffing. I will let you know, as Bridget alluded, we have a permanent administrative assistant starting. Excellent. We did do a 90-day potential expansion of 90 days, and that was brought in as at the normal staff range rate, so that's not being paid consultants' wages, and it's absolutely essential. We've also been doing interviews. Thank you to Tina, and honestly, thank you to the finance committee, because they really put us up on cue for the plan. Last week, we discussed the hiring of the treasurer, but Tina was an all-day hands-on deck with us, and me and Bridget to interview people. We do have a successful candidate. Is barring like background checks and all the other things, then we would potentially need. I would say that I'm so sold on the idea of, as we prepare for an audit, I'm really sold on this 90-day idea. I know a couple of you have even asked me, Shauna, what kind of support do we need for the department heads, specifically the clerk and the treasurer? And I have been clear, I don't know what kind of support we need until we get them in place. Next month, we will be bringing forward a permanent treasurer and a permanent clerk to be anointed by the, I think that in the interim, we're gonna probably, for one of the other candidates, the top candidates, we're probably gonna extend yet another 90-day contract to help the new treasurer with preparation for the SAO report. Again, using the staff range rate, this isn't consultants' wages, this is 90 days, no budget, no, and then we can all, as those 3 months go by and we stabilize everything, then reach out and talk to you about our overall, like, this is the permanent staffing plan we're looking for. And so I think that that provides a lot of things, because we're at the point that if like one person decides to just make a normal transition, it like explodes the top off the city. So we want to have a better stabilization. Amanda has joined us in our monthly department head meetings, and that has been a welcome addition. She's been extraordinary and really providing us a lot of good insights, especially around the plan. And I want to say, I think I'm supposed to pass this out. Like, the Department of Commerce gave us a letter of accommodation about how amazing our comprehensive planning went. So I shall pass this down. It is addressed to all of us collectively. The Planning Commission and Historic Preservation each have an opening. I have received, as you know, it got put out in my newsletter, so hopefully we'll get some emails going. I'm going to, or some applications going. Mike Ankeny's going to be with me as far as who, interviewing anyone that applies for the Planning Commission. Chris and I are meeting on Thursday to discuss our plan for the historic preservation. It is Barbara Sinclair who's stepping down. She was one of our founding members, and then she pulled additional back-to-back terms. So, if you see her out in the public, please give her a hearty thank you, because without her and a couple other people in 2014, we wouldn't have a historic preservation committee, nor would we have our 100-year, Centennial House program where we all get a decal when our houses turn 100 and everything. And so she deserves a big debt of gratitude. Of course, city staff and myself also did something for her as well with Chris Major. Upcoming joint meetings, as Brian said, we have on April 14th at 1700, or that's 5 o'clock p.m. Council Planning HP will all be invited for that open meeting class. And then on June 19th, also at 5 o'clock, we'll have a joint meeting with just Planning Commission. And at that point, Amanda's going to present some key components to the comprehensive plan and how we might start to look to potentially think of how we'd put ourselves up on queue to operationalize things as they get finalized. I have two more items. One, after our project was completely done and our lampposts, which look amazing, by the way, were done, I was reached out by the Spokane County Sheriff's Department, and they were asking if they could put a flock camera out on our Argonne Strip. And I will let you know, as I campaign, there's a lot of mixed feelings about that. There's that and water really popped up as the top two items of people, like what kind of cameras did we have at that time? We didn't have any cameras in Millwood, and I was able to very clearly, and a lot of people express relief. So I didn't want to just say yay or nay. I wanted to bring it to the council, but I actually wonder if we shouldn't not even just bring it to the council. I wonder if we shouldn't do some hearings with the public, so that it's not just you guys making the decision, and 10 years later, if you decide to do it, people are going to, they're, who did this to us and such. I think that it would be beneficial to find out where the public is at and such. So I was going to put it on a ballot, but then this gentleman who showed me how we can do that if anything big comes up, that would be cost prohibitive for something this small. So we'll go ahead and rein back and maybe just open ourselves up for a couple months of open discussion with our community on that topic. The last thing is the Public Works Committee. We're excited. We had our first meeting, and then we are really digging into the Water Capital Improvement Plan, which I think is going to be something that just bubbles up as the big topic of discussion, along with our rates this year in 2026. Conveniently, our strategic theme is our future, our water. All right, so that's all for my report. Is there any additional council information? Any public remarks?
Dan had a question.
Oh, I apologize.
Would you discuss the camera business? I didn't understand what you were
Yeah,
saying.
so the flock camera is a law enforcement tool that they put up, but once you put it up, you can't, we can give them permission, but we can't pull it down after, we don't want it. Currently, there is one already up on Upriver Drive. There's actually 6 up on Upriver Drive. You can go on. The kids showed me this. I will tell you, this is a big deal to like younger kids, and when I say younger kids, I mean 20-somethings. But you can actually go, and if you like look and see, hey, where are all the surveillance cameras, the flock cameras? City of Spokane pops like a Christmas tree, and then of course as you get more remote it becomes, I think there's like literally 8 in all of Idaho or something ridiculous like that. And so it is it's just, it's a camera.
It's an automated license plate reader is what it is, ALPR. It records every license plate that goes by.
Anything else except cars?
You'd have to look into their contract. As far as I know, they said plates only, but if you dive into the contracts, it doesn't say what they do and do not record.
It's an issue. I would Google it.
It's a privacy.
Big Brother's watching.
Yes.
Yeah, it's because the utility has been expanded, and that's what people are responding to. So again, I think that that's a conversation that we bring forward. We're going to obviously have them come out and present to us and such, but I do think it's something that we do want to get. My recommendation is that we get some public comments on it. Wonderful. Any other questions? Great question, Councilmember Sander. Any public remarks? All right, I see Kay first, and then after Kay, we will have Todd Beasy. You come up and then you tell us your address. I was like, we've heard your testimony before.
My name is Kay Boone. My husband and I live at 2609 North Bessie Road. 41 years this year. Anyway, the camera thing, absolutely bring it to the public because that's a hot potato.
It is.
And I don't think it should be on a ballot, but I think the more public can be aware, that's transparency. So I support that.
Thank you so much, Kay. I would agree 100%. Todd Beasy, did you have anything?
Todd Beasy, East 8610, East South Riverway, been living here since '72. I have 3 items, but one more. I echo what Kay just said also. Make sure you get input and get information out there. The first item is Friday nights at the Lodge. This Friday, the 13th at 6 o'clock, it's free. They have a St. Patrick's theme activity going on called Shamrocks and Seedlings. It's a gardening activity. And they do allow adult beverages. You can bring your own, or usually they have a box, a bottle of wine there for share for everybody. Number 2 is Stockwell's. Oops. It's on my phone. I'll be right back. Stockwell's is going to start being open in addition to their regular times, they're going to start opening on Sunday and Monday. Sunday they'll be open at 10 o'clock in the morning until whenever, and their days that they're open are 4 until 9. They are going to have some specials. There's going to be a Bloody Mary bar and mimosa bar on Sundays, and cheeseburger, fries, and draft for $15. And then, of course, I think everybody knows it's one of the pubs here in Millwood in the Historic District. Number 3, Main Street Millwood has elected a board of directors, and they have formed 4 planning and work committees. So they're moving along. So they'll be exciting because they will be able to get grants to help in improvements, so. Okay, thank you very much. Any questions, or you can talk to me afterwards.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for bringing up Main Street. My whole newsletter shortly will be devoted to that, and part of the economic vitality along with Craig and Matt Hansen and Natasha. Alrighty. So so we're gonna do council remarks and then do the executive council remarks. Tina Seifert.
Thank you very much.
Mayor?
Oh, I apologize. Please, public remarks, one last.
This is my first time here, so. My name is John Reedburn. I live at 3208 North Sargent since 1965. My problem is, we need to do something about these motorcycles and mini bikes, tearing up everything. I've called the cops, I don't know how many times, nothing's been done. I came down here to the city hall, talked to a guy down here. He asked me, goes, what do you want me to do? That was a sheriff, one of the sheriffs. He goes, what should I do? I wanted to tell him, give me your badge and your belt and your keys to your car, I'll take care of it. But something's got to be done. I got pictures on my phone. We almost got one of them hit Saturday. I got pictures, like she's about that far away from a car that swerved over on Euclid. And somebody's going to get pasted again. It's already happened last summer. And they're just gone crazy and nobody will do nothing about it. I can't be the only person that's called the cops because they're all over the historic part of Millwood. And they live on the corner of Bessie and Dalton. And I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention. Something's got to be done because pretty soon you're going to have vigilantes taking care of it. Because I've talked to a couple other neighbors. Nobody's happy. So that's all I got to say.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Tina Seifert.
Just thank you to all the staff and everything, and thanks for the invite to try to help out with, losing Lynn. Lynn, you've done great so far. Thank you for your service. Kenzie, still, again, good to see you go. Bridget, you're doing awesome. Thank you. Brian, good job.
Don't forget the gentleman. We always forget the gentleman.
No.
You leave Brian out.
And yeah, Kyle, Matt, you guys are doing awesome. It's like, thank you so much for the reports and all that. And Kyle, we kind of talked a little bit on this side last week. It's just people are kind of wondering about those speed bumps going in at stop signs. So don't know what the plan is, but.
Are you talking about the temporaries from last year?
The temporaries from last year.
I don't think we were, unless you guys compel or want to bring it forward, I was overwhelmingly told that was not something we want to replicate next year.
I think it just
This year.
depended, really.
Pardon?
I think it was like a 50-50, just a hearing from, people. So anyway, but thank you very,
I
very
guess
much.
we could have another hearing, but yeah. Love to hear what everyone's hearing. We're not really gonna have a hearing right this second on it, but
yeah. People are just asking.
that was overwhelming on the campaign trails. Not as much as Flock in the Water, but
Right?
yeah.
It was. But thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
It's always good to see everybody too.
Sean.
I was traveling today, so I did miss this morning's interviews. I apologize for that. Out of Finance Committee, we did sit down with Matt from
Yes.
Comer, so I can
Thank
clear
you.
this up and report out of our subcommittee. Apparently, WashDOT had changed the reimbursement procedure earlier in the year where Welch could not submit reimbursement requests on our behalf. So that rule changed in the fact that I think Matt had set up some kind of system internally where they would submit or inform us to request reimbursement at the same time they invoiced us. And then they missed an invoice one month, so he didn't submit a reimbursement request. So apparently it was a lot of just rule changes in timing. This is why the general fund kind of got run low on the project. So I think Shauna, Kyle, and I don't want to speak out of turn here.
Yes, we are
Matt are
absolutely.
working on a policy to make sure that going forward, all of our reimbursements are applied for timely and everybody knows who's applying for which reimbursement.
Yeah, so we're gonna do a better project charter this time and really get our hands on it. We're meeting on Thursday and that will be carried forward with the new staff. So thank you, Sean, for remembering that.
Yeah,
That's huge.
I figure if we're gonna do these
Yeah,
subcommittees, we should report out during council with anything that may be of interest.
I appreciate it.
And then one thing,
Oh, yeah.
oh, sorry, follow up on the speed bumps. I've heard people down, Liberty ask when they're getting their version of the.
Those ones are popular. It was the little cocoon ones that I did not hear were very popular.
Yeah. I haven't heard so much about the temps because some people were complaining over by Savannah Wusu House over here.
Mhm.
But I've heard a few requests from my neighbors on Liberty asking when they're getting their version of the Empire speed bumps.
So we need to make sure that we talk about that and get it on the tips, because as you know, unless it's on the tips, it's not something we're,
I don't know if we put money in there for those or not. We may have.
Not for On Liberty, no.
Okay.
It's pretty much.
Maybe just see how that went first before we committed to doing
Yeah.
them on Liberty and possibly Euclid.
but I think it's definitely something we wanna start talking about, because I agree, those kinds of speed bumps are very popular.
And they work.
Yeah, they're effective.
Yeah. And if you're not going the speed limit, you are in trouble. Sean and I went to a SWAC meeting,
Yes, we did.
and I can't remember what came of that meeting.
I think it was like the truck rodeo, it was just a lot of
talk.
education.
Yeah. Anyway, we're moving forward with the Solid Waste Advisory Committee. Thank you, everybody, for doing what you're doing, and I am leaving Saturday. So to return, I'm not sure when.
So you will still be attending and checking
I
in
can do it remotely.
monthly. Perfect. Thank you, council member.
It is interesting about the speed bumps, however. I've had more complaints about the good ones than the bad ones.
Really?
Yes, you know, but the bad ones I thought were good. I mean, they solved the problem that we had at the time of people just, you know, with Argonne plugged, they were just speeding north and south where it was, you know, the ones I had, you know, why not? You're stopping anyway, let's just stop. You know, let's not run the damn stop sign. So, but at any rate, that's for another discussion.
Yeah.
Lynn, thank you for, I don't know how you keep all this stuff straight. All. And walking in for the short period of time, getting it all organized and kind of set up for the future was, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
I'll echo that. Thanks, Lynn. Thanks, staff. Appreciate it.
Oh, yes, one other thing, I was glad to see our water department represented well at the truck rodeo of all the training and some useful training. However, I did have lunch with Paul and the tank guy. He didn't talk about his screw up with our tank. He had all these bad pictures of bad tanks, but he was the one that was involved with our tank with the new vent, and he didn't. That wasn't on the slides. But anyway, that was good to see you guys there.
I have to be transparent. I did not actually attend truck rodeo, but I did attend the SWAC
You
meeting,
were there at
so
the
I
SWAC
was
meeting.
there. Wonderful. Well, sir, if you could read us out, we're just gonna have a brief 10-minute executive meeting, no action anticipated.
Yeah, thank you. Pursuant to RCW 4230-110 subsection 1G and I, council will convene to executive session for 10 minutes upon commencement of the executive session to, excuse me here, evaluate the qualifications of an applicant for public employment or review the performance of a public employee, as well as to discuss potential litigation, legal risks, or potential financial risks of a proposed action of the city. Again, reiterating, no action will be asked of the council upon conclusion of the executive session.
Perfect. So it is
6:58.
Thank you, 6:58. We will reconvene at 7:08. We'll